Welcome back, you yummy pasta in a bowl. Let's talk about the PLS HEX ratio. This is like the ETH BTC ratio. So we're going to go through these one by one so you know exactly what's going on. Like, subscribe, bell button, or you know as well as I do, you ain't finding this information anywhere. Strap onto your seats, baby dolls. Let's go. So PulseChain. PulseChain just launched. PulseChain, PLS, is the layer 1 token. It is the gas token. It is Ethereum. What about HEX? HEX is a Bitcoin, it's made in the image of Bitcoin. Let's just say that. It's meant to be a better Bitcoin, gives yield. It's a store of value. That's what it's meant to do. Now, obviously, everyone here understands and respects the network effects around these, but when I tell other people that HEX is a better Bitcoin, the Richard Hart talking point, they laugh, they gasp with air, and they lose their minds. I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this, because no one's laughing at PulseChain. Not as many people as they are still laughing at HEX. That's something just to keep in mind when we evaluate these. And I want you to think about these from a mindset of contrarian thinking. If the crowd and the average person has no idea and they're usually wrong, and I keep hitting home runs and they don't know what they're doing, and they're telling me that they think HEX is a joke, just keep that on the scoreboard for HEX as we go through this. So the Ethereum Bitcoin chart is basically the risk on or risk off chart for crypto. It represents investor demand for smart contracts. Degenning, layer 1, gaming, NFTs, Ponzi's, yield farming, up, down, left, right, woo, metaverse. All of that jizz jazz. When ETH BTC goes up, it's risk on. When it goes down, it's risk off. It has been getting tighter over time, so there might have to be a new indicator. So lucky for you, I actually have my constructed one here. I've got it for you in the chart. Well, this is the ETH BTC chart. This is my top left number 1 chart. You have to know what this chart is doing at all times. Not day to day, but you just got to see this. So a lot of people ask me, I'm going to change this to a regular chart. Okay, a regular chart. This is what it looked like. Let's focus on the right-hand side, please. This is what the chart looked like in the midst of the 2-year bear market. No, we're going nowhere. That's right. Okay, these 2 years of going down, destruction. This is what it looked like. Many of my friends, family said to me, hey, man, are you sure about this crypto thing? Because instead of going up, the prices have been going down. And I said, oh my God, I haven't realized. I've just wanted to squirt myself with a water pistol every day. I could not tell that my portfolio was disintegrating before my very eyes every day. Wow. Thank you for alerting it to me. So this chart on a regular chart looks a bit like a poopy. But you know, as well as I do, linear charts are for plebs. Not poor plebs, just plebs. We're poor plebs here. You got to put it on a log chart. But you can see how when this thing slowed down, it was risk off. So when you go to the timing, by the way, guess who went all in on Ethereum right here? It's funny. I just want to let you know, friends, just to show you the friendship. I had no idea what Ethereum was, and I mean absolutely no idea. I didn't know what Twitter was, didn't know what YouTube was. Guess who? Here it is, December 2019. I discovered Ethereum here. It took me about 120 minutes before I realized, oh wow, this thing's going to flip Bitcoin. I got to go all in. It was right here. I felt like I cheated, by the way, because I was like, man, I looked at this chart and I was like, oh my God, these people who are holding all the way up here must be really wrecked right now. I felt really bad because I came in, I get to scoop it. So, it's 90% down. Crazy. So as you can see, as the bull market transpired, it went up. So think about this. Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. This is why I always look at the ratios. Chart everything against BTC, right? And if you want to play difficult mode, you chart against ETH. But that's for something else later. This is ETH BTC, right? The L1 over SOV. Remember the big daddy, the base, the old one, the rock is always in the base. So really when you chart it, it's ETH over BTC, the denominator. So if this thing's going up, risk on. If this thing's going down, risk off. You should always construct your charts such that if you see green candles on the chart, it means people are happy, people are excited, people are euphoric. We're going risk on. And if you see red candles, it's like, oh no, blood. It's bad. There's lots of blood on the streets. Have it consistent for yourself. So that's why ETH BTC is how we want to chart it. And that's going to relate to PLS versus HEX, Pulse HEX. Okay, so if you put this to a log chart, you get to see this thing has been screaming over the years, but man, it's taking its sweet ass time right now. I mean, just to let you know, right, just basic TA. When you see something like this, 2 years, this tells me when Ethereum finally breaks out of here, it's never coming back. I mean, you are finished for good. You don't do this accidentally against Bitcoin and then come back ever. I'm telling you, no. You're going up. Now, I don't know how up or where. And yes, this is actually true up here. You probably noticed Richard Hart's target for ETH BTC in one of his Twitter spaces. Someone asked him, what are your long-term targets for ETH and Bitcoin? Well, shout out to that baby doll who got to ask him that. And then Ricardo himself said his target for Bitcoin is about 100K. His target for Ethereum is 100 to 200K. I was like, what? Excuse me? Yeah, so this is, you denote the ETH BTC ratio 0.5. This would be absolutely huge, okay? So this is, you can see, you can get so much information from this chart. This should be the most studied chart in crypto. Before anybody comes into crypto, they got to learn what this chart means. So what this chart means, so October 2015 up to today, all right, you see this price, 2645%. Remove the last two digits, 45, you just look at that 26. You see that 26? That means if you converted one Bitcoin into Ethereum down here in the bottom left, if you spent your Bitcoin, your currency, and you bought Ethereum here, today you have 26 times more. You got 26 Bitcoin. I want you to note as well, around this time, so Bitcoin had the 2012 halvening, and now around 2016 here, it was the second halvening. So keep that in mind, all right? So second halvening, second H for BTC. This is going to be important when we go look at the second cycle of HEX and PulseChain. So keep all these in mind. These are super important to look at. I want you to know, this chart goes up over time, okay? Now, please don't have a judgmental perspective about Bitcoin because it's very easy to fall in the trap and say, oh, Bitcoin's so slow. I don't like the logo. Yes, no, up, down, left, right. Woo! Forget that. The market is smarter than you, me, and any little squirrel running around eating his little nuts. The market's smarter than us. It is saying store of value is useful, but humans, we love to gamble. We love building cities, we love JPEGs, we love gaming, we love metaverse, we love speculation, we love all these cool things that also send us down the drain sometimes, but we love that, all right? So we like putting Bitcoin or a rock. Let's do a green rock. This is the B of BTC. This is the rock. That is the layer one. And then you build, this is going to be the Ethereum right now. That's actually what it's looking like right now. That's how it's happening. You're going to build the Ethereum layer, and then we're going to have all the poop on top, even more poop, okay? So that's what it's looking like so far. So that's what this chart is actually saying. Yes, all of this, I know, you're just seeing some lines go up. Isn't it beautiful? I can actually convey to you every single thing you need to know about crypto is in this chart right now, all right? Now, have you noticed something up here? Ethereum flips Bitcoin up here at 0.16. So when that happens, you're probably going to see more mayhem. People are going to start to go, whoa, what's going on? Up, down, left, right. Now, this video, of course, baby dolls, is about the Pulse to HEX ratio. I have this in the tweet here. Okay, so remember, Ethereum, the layer one, just like Pulse. And then you have HEX, which is the store of value Bitcoin. So you've now known, you get to see ETH BTC goes up over time. I'm asking you, will Pulse outperform HEX? Just like ETH outperforms BTC, right? So when you see, when someone says something outperforms something else, all that means is if you do their ratio, their charting, the line is green. That's all it means. See these green arrows? That's what they actually mean. So I'd rather people just say, hey, do you think ETH BTC goes up or down? That's it. I like that. It's easier for us to comprehend what's going on. So obviously you're watching this video because you want to know, what are the chances it goes up, down, left, right, baby doll? We're going to make the case that as much as I hate to say it, we might see Pulse outperform HEX. And it also would be within the realm of possibility that the ratio kind of stays flat as well. So we're going to have a look here. So you've seen ETH BTC. This is what happens. But you might also say, hey, they're two different ecosystems. They're two different things. But please, just you got to suspend belief for 1 second. This is the Pulse HEX ratio. It's just launched. We have no information. This is a 4-hour chart. You got nothing but some information here. HEX, second cycle. Okay. PulseChain, first cycle. So you already know. Do you remember back in this do you remember back in here when I said this is coincidence, when Ethereum launched, right? It was going into the second cycle for Bitcoin. Isn't it fascinating that someone who may or may not be a duck, who may or may not have feathers and swim in a pond with a cute little beak, who may or may not be named Ricardo Corazon, isn't it a coincidence that he, she, they, them, whatever they are, the entity, launched PulseChain in the second cycle here? You think about it, this empire, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's doing the formula. He's like, hey, put everyone under one umbrella and one wing, and we'll get to crush it. Wouldn't it be fantastic if this actually works out? But you know what? It's already working out. It's actually already working out. But think about this. So I'm not going to make the point here that you should do any rotation at all. All right. I don't want you to walk away from this thinking, yes, I got to rotate this, that, up, down, left, right. I'm not saying that. Not saying that. I'm just telling you there's a case that you should just have everything equally, just in case. That's it. I don't want anybody to say, screw PulseX or screw Pulse or screw EHEX. Don't do that. Look how much magic I was able to give to you, right, through the power of friendship, all from the ETH BTC chart. There might be a key out there to the EHEX and PHEX chart, for example, using some sort of proxy and some way of thinking, and we might not be able to deduce the logic until way later, and it might be too late. Might be too late. So have all of them equally, and don't disrespect the underdogs. Pulse to HEX. So what do you do from here? A lot of you, everybody is shifted in one coin or the other, and not everybody has everything equal. I like to think of everything from a perspective of, I rewind time in my head and I say, okay, every single time I was met with a decision tree, what was the best outcome? There were many times my what I thought was going to happen got blown apart. But I tell you right now, personally, I never feel bad when I do 50-50. That's just me. If I start doing like 75-25 in one and I get it wrong, and the 25% is the one that moons when it comes to these, I feel a bit tilted. I'm like, man, that sucks. But just psychologically, if I just do 50-50, okay, I never ever think, oh man, I should have gone all in on this. I never think that. It's very interesting. I don't know what it is about this beautiful 50-50 allocation that might give you some insight, right? So for example, you know what's also interesting? If someone's new to crypto, they have no idea how deep we've gone down the rabbit hole. They might say, hey, I want a DCA into crypto. I want the blue chips, the safe stuff for 10 years. You might say to them, hey man, I think Ethereum's going to win, but if you're just going to DCA and you can only buy on 2 exchanges, Bitcoin and Ethereum, just do 50-50. You can't go wrong, all right? So that's going to help them sleep at night. Now, me and you, right, we're outsiders and we're baby doll baby cakes and we're eating lasagna through a bowl. You've seen the power of what Ethereum can do. So we have more informational and a competitive edge. But I'm just talking about the average person. So we are also the average person right now. We have no real advantage here. But you do, wink, wink, because you're watching me and I've shown you, hey, if this chart, okay, this is why not many people believe me, okay? Firstly, everyone's still calling Richard Hart a scammer. Secondly, no one even believes PulseChain's out. Thirdly, no one even believes any of the coins are going to have value. So these people, they are so far gone. Like they are nowhere near where they need to be. This is just ripe and open for the taking for us. We're going to get the yield. We're going to get the sick gains, and we are. And you might ask me, hey, why aren't we pumping right now, this minute, etc.? Sick gains don't work like that. Sick gains work in a different way. What they do is, sick gains might mean, because these people don't like what you're in, we were able to get a sacrifice market cap of Pulse at 670 million market cap, which is what we were. Whereas if they did all like it, it might have been 6 billion. So we get the first 10x multiplier without them. That is the competitive edge we get. And that's our benefit that we get for taking all the risk. And we deserve it, right? Everybody said we're a scammer, we're delusional, got peanut brains. And I said, yes, yes, yes. All of those are true, but we still might go up. And you know it. You know it. So what do we do with this chart? What do you do with this chart? I don't know if we can put specific ranges to play around, up, down, left, right, because if we fast forward, and I'm going to put a daily chart, if we fast forward this chart and it does this literally, up, down, left, right for like 6 to 7 months, you wouldn't be surprised because the liquidity is bonded and the meme of the ecosystem is very tight. So Pulse does not compete with HEX. But with ETH BTC, okay, you know there is a bit of combat between Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are fighting two different legions. Basically, you know what I'm coming from. The Bitcoiners, the people who don't want to change anything, and the Ethereum, the people who do want to change. But hold your horses. This is why I'm telling you to keep an open mind. We have to keep an open mind too. Is it possible that PulseChain outgrows HEX? And you and me, as like people call us hexicans because you own HEX, it's possible the new wave of people coming in, and you know this from Metcalfe's law, that they overwhelm us. And PulseChain grows much bigger and the empire goes much wider, and HEX is not as juicy as you thought compared to PLS. All it means is, right, another way of saying this chart goes up. That's all it means, right? This chart goes up. Pulse, first cycle. So I'm letting you know as well, many discords, many people have seen their attitudes. PulseChain's a layer 1. A lot of people can understand it and it's less controversial, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the one that goes up because we're wrestling with so many things. So you got to understand all these things before you just go in. I want you to know no one knows what the hell to do. No one really knows. Okay, you can take a punt. But the best place to be is 50-50. And you already know, you recognize Pulse is in cycle 1. You already know this. Pulse is cycle 1. HEX, cycle 2. So maybe this chart goes up. As well, you have new people coming in. Where are they going to allocate? Where do they understand the allocation? Once again, it's not so black and white. But you have to protect yourself no matter what happens. This is why I said you can't go wrong. I'm going to tell you right now. You can't go wrong. You have PLSX and then you have another HEX, right? If you have a part in each, every single one, perhaps the best way to think about it is to just treat it as one big giant pie that you get to eat rather than punting on one, because you're going to feel really silly if you don't have the one that works. And it's also possible that they pump at different times. For example, it's possible that Uniswap does a huge upgrade at the end of 2024 and PulseX starts screaming just because DEXs are in and there's a new thing and a new feature to fork. Possible. It's also possible layer 1 chains aren't as cool anymore. That's another thing. So this is where we start to get a bit deeper because the answers aren't so clear. This is why I want you to, even me, you're thinking, okay, if you hear 18 hours a day, what's the answer? I really wish I did know the answer because here's the thing. Pulse, it's the Ethereum, right? And you know, I made videos. Ethereum might have a third cycle curse. The third cycle curse. If that happens, I wonder what that represents. Does that represent the fact that maybe the participants of crypto aren't that excited? They don't get a libido boost from the thought of layer 1 chains anymore because all the layer 1 chains came in 2021. But we got to see they ain't really worth much because most of the layer 1 chains are empty. They all had the same forks. They have got a DEX. They've got an Aave, but they don't have all the volume. So all the volume comes to the cities. Does that continue for the next cycle? That's another issue. Layer 1 chain smart contracts, they are now entering their second cycle as well. So we have points for both HEX and PLS, and you can make a case for both that this chart either goes up or goes sideways. You don't really know. I think it's very wise for you to respect all the bags. Stake every single one that you can, because if you miss out on one and we get some thesis wrong, you never ever forgive yourself. We have a great opportunity that we don't have to take any sides here. It's all within the same ecosystem. Think about the penalty that you have for being a Bitcoin maxi here. And that's what happens is you do have a big penalty. You know this as well as I do, right? There are Bitcoin people who said Ethereum is a complete scam. The articles are still up. They said Vitalik's a scammer. They said Ethereum's a pre-mine scam. It's absolutely trash. It doesn't solve anything. And look at this. Yeah, those quote-unquote smarty pants who thought that, you know, we with peanut brains ain't worth anything, they could have put one of their Bitcoin and came out with 22. They could have put 10 of their Bitcoin and came out with 220. Think about that. So how are you going to move on from this? Well, I just want you to consider what the outcomes are that we kind of see from here. Because my guessing, this is my guessing, based off where Pulse and HEX are, and PulseX, right? So both the hexes, all four of them, I feel like their multiplier from here is all the same. I don't see anything out of whack. It's makes me a bit happy, but also makes me a bit scared because you know at some point something will come out of whack. You know it will. And I don't know where it's going to be. Is it going to be like it might be where you least expect? Would it be Pulse? Would it be PHEX? See, the ones you do expect, maybe that doesn't happen. What do we all expect? Well, not we, but most retailers expect HEX will never come back, and they expected PulseX not to outperform as much. So maybe the weakness is elsewhere. So you can see there's all these risks that become apparent when you start to see, oh my God, all the weak hands, they are in the trade with me. That's the key issue. So at least you walk away from this knowing that, hey, we don't see anything clear right now. It might be apparent one day, okay? But I'll be honest, you get that water pistol, right? You get a cute little water pistol, yeah, and you squirt me, right? If you squirt that water pistol in my direction and you said pick a side, I guess I would take a punt that Pulse versus HEX goes up. So that means Pulse increases against HEX. So Pulse, the ecosystem, Pulse, the layer 1 chain, goes up against the store of value. If I had to absolutely take a punt, based on the premise that ETH BTC goes up, and you know from Metcalfe's Law, friends, my final message, I've made so many tweets and videos. Most of you don't know. You're going to have to repeat to you. HEX has 200,000 people. Pulse had 40,000 people. So these numbers are tiny. For Pulse to do the numbers we want, and for HEX to do the numbers we want, they got to hit over 1 million people. You use Metcalfe's Law, and you don't even need to really use it. You can just see we are a tiny breadcrumb. Think about the next 1 million people coming in. They might overwhelm us and dwarf us. You know, at one point, there were like 1 million people in Bitcoin, and then Ethereum started. You know, Ethereum started with, I think, 5,000 to 10,000 people in their ICO. So just imagine I existed in 2015 and I was making videos for Bitcoin Maxis, and this is what I'd be telling him. So you got to learn from this. I'd be telling him, hey, baby.Bitcoin Maxis, the year is 2015, wag me. But also, you have to understand the past 6 years of crypto with Satoshi and decentralization and the Cypress Bank and all this stuff. That's all cool. But the next 20 million people, 50 million people coming into crypto, they will not all have the same principles that we, Bitcoin Maxis in 2015 had. So anything to the left here. They are going to be a new breed of people. That's why there's a squiggly line here, a type of new wave. That is where most people get it wrong. So here I am saying, HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, it's possible. It's possible we are the old boomers. That's what we see. And it's also possible there's a rift now with this PulseChain launch, and the new people are going to come in and make some new stuff that you won't even see thinking. You won't even see, right? So NFTs, gaming, metaverse, different types of entrepreneurial efforts that have nothing to do with anything we recognize, stuff we would have called absolute trash, they might come for PulseChain. And unfortunately, for anybody who doesn't want to change, they are going to dwarf us in numbers. And I really do mean dwarf. You will be drowned out. They will be the new blood. They'll actually be the chain. You can look to the Bitcoin Maxi crowd right now. What do you see? You see them fighting over poop coins on Bitcoin. And what are they doing? The poop coins are looking at Ethereum miners, the validators making the money, and the poop coins are are able to give the yield basically to the Bitcoin miners. And now they're all fighting about, oh, but this is a use case, up, down, left, right. So as you can see, things start changing. But this is what happens. If you want your bags to pump, you must accept this is the change that's going to come before us. The good thing is we have the answer here. You know that this is a possibility, at least, that HEX gets left behind. I'm not going to sell any HEX. I think the staking is beautiful. I'm not getting rid of it because, hey, do you want to take the chance that maybe layer 1 chains aren't cool and something else happens? I don't want to take that chance at all. Own all of them because you know as well as I do, just because the old is happening and the new is coming, our bag's going to pump. You know our bag's going to pump. All the liquidity is bonded. Even this chart goes to the top and the right. Like, if this chart goes up and to the right, what do you think is actually, what does that actually mean? That means everyone's coming to PulseChain and they're demanding risk. So perhaps it's true that this chart is going to be risk on. Tell mom and dad that you love them, friends. Like, subscribe, bell button, or I will catch yous.